Now we've got a Volkswagen plant in Tennessee, and some of the workers are thinking about joining a union, and that makes sense because then their pay would be higher, possibly. The key to joining the United Auto Workers is that you band together as the workers so you have some sort of leverage. Look, this is the oldest thing in the book. If you go to complain to your boss and you're just one employee, you get fired and they replace you. And you have no power, you have no leverage, you can't ask for more money, you can't ask for more vacation time, or whatever it might be, right? That's why people banded together to create unions in the first place. And they worked well for a long time. And what they did was they gave some leverage back to the employees so that it was a little bit more balanced, right? Now, of course, Republicans have been on the attack against unions for a long time because they get funded by the companies. And the companies don't want the workers to have leverage. They want to have all the power over their workers. So now that's the case here as well. So now that the workers are unionizing, well, the companies are then going to the legislators that they have already bought off and saying, hey, do our bidding for us. Now, there's some great ironies here. So first, let's go to the Tennessee State Senator Bo Watson, who's going to tell us what he's going to do if the workers decide to unionize. He says, should the workers choose to be represented by the United Auto Workers, then I believe additional incentives for expansion will have a very tough time passing the Tennessee Senate. So he's saying, if the workers decide that they're going to unionize, we will punish the company by taking away their tax incentives. Now, wait a minute. Is that what the company wants? Why would they want to take away their own tax incentive? Yes, it is. They go tell the legislators, hey, we don't want this union crap, okay? Pretend we're on different sides and that you would be against it. But why would you be against it? Why would you want to drive out a company that's in your state because they were treating their employees better? The reality is you don't want them to treat their employees better. By the way, their employees are your citizens, the people you're supposed to be representing, Bo Watson, but you're not. You're representing that company in this scam. I'm going to give you details on the scam in a second, but the governor is with them, Bill Haslam's spokesperson, of course, Bill Haslam also a Republican, and the discussion of incentives are part of an additional and continued talks with VW, which we look forward to. If you didn't understand that, that's a threat, okay? We're not going to give you those tax incentives if you unionize. Now, if we had a rational discussion here, VW executives would go and go, what are you talking about? We don't want them to unionize either. Why would you take our tax incentives away? But the reality is they're on the same side. They're basically using the legislators to threaten their own citizens. But they're not alone. Different groups have put up, right-wing groups, 12 different billboards around Chattanooga to say to the union, to the workers, oh my God, if you wind up unionizing, there's going to be trouble. Now, what are these groups called? First one is called the Center for Worker Freedom. Just great, man. I love it. Orwell's got to be thinking, nailed it. Worker freedom. Now, you're telling me all those companies gave money to these right-wing groups who then put up the billboard and spent all that money marketing against the unions. Why? Because they wanted to help the workers with their freedom? Or they thought, well, then I'd have to pay the workers more, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather spend it on right-wing political groups. I'd rather spend it legally bribing politicians. I'd rather spend it on a marketing campaign rather than spend it on my actual workers. How's that freedom working out for you? Now, the final piece of irony is the second group that's involved in this campaign, Americans for Tax Reform. Now, why is that ironic? This is the Grover Norquist-led group, and if there's one thing they do, it is to argue for tax cuts under any and all circumstances. Wait a minute. In this case, they're doing the opposite. They're saying take away the tax incentives and the tax cuts from VW if their workers unionize. It's because they're not in favor of tax cuts. They don't give a damn about tax cuts. They don't give a damn about tax reform. What they care about is helping rich people and multinational corporations. The whole talk about, oh, tax cuts will stimulate the economy is just a cover to actually help the rich and the powerful. So in this case, they argue against tax cuts. Why? To make sure that the corporations win and their workers lose. Understand that the Republican Party and these right-wing groups are nothing but a shell game. They're shell groups designed to make sure that multinational corporations and the richest people in the country have leverage and power over you.